only a few more matches left in pre-grid, so grid going to be coming up soon. We see Elfi here, of course, Elfitja, known as well as one of the best Protoss players in the EU, spawning here in the bottom left as the red Protoss. Meanwhile, across from him, Zelnager, we see Jaxx here. Jaxx apparently with H2K. There you go. Quick shout out to H2K. Funny thing, I've actually done some casting for H2K TV as well. Regardless, you know, it's going to be fires against H2K here as Elfi is it's got to be the favorite in this matchup. Elfi, very strong player, of course, you know, from the Nordic countries. Look at that, Jaxx being very cautious, actually scouting behind the brush. Of course, unlike caverns, it is very easy to hide a pylon here and do some kind of proxy play, but really, you're more likely to do that in a match where your opponent is favored, because then, you know, then cheese is you know, is a gamble. Sure, you know, if it gets scouted, you're likely to lose, but then again, you know, if your opponent fails to scout properly, you've got a win on your hands. So if you're convinced that, hey, you know, if I let this go to the late game, if I do it in a macro game, I'm likely going to lose anyway, why not go for something on a proxy cheese? You know, we do see Jaxx just trying to raz this pylon. Really not going to be too much too big of a deal. Takes a pylon forever and a day to actually lose his shields against a pro. Never mind to actually go down to it. See Cybernair score now also going down. And Elfi doing the exact same. See, I like it much more if you go for the pro raz. It's much more efficient to do that. The idea is to weaken this pylon, so if you go with some kind of 4-gate play, it might not have all his shields back yet. It might have a little bit of damage, and it'll be a weakness. But if you look at Elfi's SimCity here, SimCity is really good, making sure that both his gates are powered by 2 pylons, so he's in no kind of problem. You know, there's no kind of trouble. Finally, we do see both players pulling a probe just to defend that pylon. So, you know, if you are going SimCity, you know, Jaxx has got a little bit weaker SimCity. It's going to be a bit tougher to defend. You see the second gas here go up for Jaxx, as well as Elfi. And the second gateway is coming up in a very similar timing as well. So both these guys are likely going to go for some kind of blink soccer play, if I had to guess. We'll see. We'll see very shortly. We'll see the follow-up. If we see 2 more gates pop out, then you know I'm wrong. Oh, look at that! A robotics bay, actually. A robotics facility. Sorry, not a robotics bay. Of course not. Robotics facility coming out here for Elfi. 2-gate robo, very unconventional play. You know, 3-gate robo is what you want to do on a map where you can get away with it. Now, both these guys are opening up with this. There we go. There's a 3rd gate for Elfi going down. So it's 3-gate robo actually. Honestly, I was expecting some kind of heavy Starcraft play, but no. Instead, gonna go for those gateways. Now, in the rock, paper, scissors, you know, well, I don't want to say that the game comes down to it, but if you do play rock, paper, scissors in a matchup like this, the guy that goes Colossi instead of Immortal usually comes out on top. Yeah, that's just how 3-gate robo works. Oh, do you see that? At least Elfi is aiming for that robotic space, gonna aim for those Colossi. No robotic space yet for Jaxx, who's going for that early observer instead. Spending his gas on that. The really observer is quite cheap these days. Elfi's still gonna try to squeeze in an Immortal. I'm kind of waiting to see if... Actually, I was kind of expecting Jaxx to go for Colossi as well. Oh, there we go. Jaxx is a little bit behind in this matchup. We see that... Oh, this is why. See? Jaxx has been continuously getting probes. Meanwhile, Elfi has actually been cutting his probes. There's 4 workers behind. That's why there's Colossi a little bit earlier. And it's a risk. I don't want to say risk. It's a play that you have to actually get ahead from if you want to make this happen. And we do see a 4th gate also going down. This is not because you can actually keep up the production of all these 4 gates and the robotics facility. No, once you get that, first one out over the first 2 is generally how I do it. I wait for a second one as well. Looks like Elfi has one queued up as well. You want to just have a forward pylon here, where you can reinforce very quickly. See, of course, you can keep your Colossi production up, but if you're pushing out, if you're making your way across the map, then it is very tough to actually reinforce with Colossi. Colossi not that fast. In a long map like this, cross position guaranteed is it just takes a little while. So adding an extra gate in just means that you can reinforce your army even if it's far away from home. Jaxx now looking to be a bit aggressive. Spots this pylon. Is going to try to do something with that high ground side, of course, because of the observer. But no, Elfi reacts accordingly, and he's got more than enough out to defend here. And there we go. This is exactly what we were talking about. He's pushing out across the map. Has some momentum right now. Elfi, let's see how far he can go. We do have Colossi out as well here for Jaxx, but only one. The difference is he's going for that range upgrade. I think Elfi actually skipped range. So he's really investing heavily into making this happen here. Forward pylon going down. He needs to do damage right now. If range finishes and a second Colossi pops out, it's going to be a very awkward situation for him. Go for the pylon first. Kills out the pylon. The second Colossi now out. Range is going to finish. Yes. Oh, this is going to be tough for Elfi. Elfi needing to focus down the Colossi. Going to push in all the way, trying to make it happen. Gets one Colossi down. His gateway unit is dwindling heavily, though. Only really is Colossi left now. And he's reinforcing that. Of course, this is why you get that extra gateway. This is why the investment is starting to pay off. So Micro back has hurt Colossi. Trying to keep the shields alive. And there we go. The Stalker's now down. Zealot's being warped in. Zealot should be getting annihilated very shortly. Now, can Elfi get this done is a question. He's warping in another wave. But he knows that his opponent has range. He does not. Another round of Stalkers and well, 1 Stalker and 2 Zealots here warping in for Jaxx. And there we go. The clash once again happening. The Zealots go down first for Jaxx. So Jaxx in a little bit of trouble here. Producing the Stalker go down as well. Now can he focus fire this Colossi? Colossi is being microed back constantly. The next one's going to pop out. There's Resident Eco right now. Zealot's warping in, but oh my god, look at that. The second Colossi pops out just in time. And Elfi is forced back. And Elfi now, honestly, in not a good situation. He's behind a few workers. He did get to kill off a few workers there, so that's a little bit of a consolation prize. But it is high time he invests in that range. Yes, indeed, he does. He invests in that range right now. He's Chrono boosting it out because he knows he needs it. At least he managed to sufficiently hurt his opponent's army, and he's got the superior production. Even though, once again, while he's making Colossi, he really can't afford to use all 4 gates. We can argue that at least he's saving Chrono Boost that way. Elfi now, fully producing workers again. He's trying to catch up to the worker count of his opponent. Will soon succeed. Both players now with 3 Colossi out. Forward pylon getting sniped. Elfi has accounted for that though. Elfi now 4 food behind. We'll have to see who comes out on top here in the next conversation. We do see that range at least has managed to finish for Elfi. So now equal in worker count. And again, the forward finally going down for Elfi. Look at that. Jaxx checking for it in an expansion. Does not find anyone. Looks to be tries to expand himself. He has the minerals to expand, but no, finds the army of Elfi just outside of his main. There we go. Big arc there. The Colossi in a good position here by Jaxx, but can he keep him up? There we go. Again, Elfi dashing in with the Stalkers going very far forward, picking off the Colossi. But still, it's 3 Colossi versus 3. As one goes down for Elfi here. Oh my god, this is an awkward matchup. Both now down to 2 Colossi, but no more gateway units for Elfi here. Wave of reinforcements coming in for Elfi, but this Colossi are just starting to tank so much damage. It's very hard for him to stay up. Well, he just barely has the superior gateway units here, but yeah, the problem is he just doesn't have any shields on his Colossi. More and more units now warping in for Elfi. And off we go once again. There's a confrontation. Now Elfi now with the superior gateway unit count, so he can push in a bit. Almost focuses down 1 Colossi. Now the high ground site is not there because the Colossi are too far back. Oh, almost picks up 1. And Zealot's being warped in here by Jaxx. These guys are going to start getting mined out in not too long. There we go. Elfi going for the expansion here now. Oh, but Jaxx blocks him. Should just put down a pylon here for now. And instead another Colossi being put out by Elfi. Jaxx now adding in a gateway as well. Knows that there's probably points in time where he wants to cut his Colossi production. He wants to get more gateway units out. There we go, Jaxx indeed with a mana pylon. Exactly what you want to do in that situation. He is actually forcing Elfi's army all the way back. Jaxx now expanding a little bit earlier than his opponent because of this. This is basically PvP balancing on a very thin wire. Expansion cannot go down for Elfi as well. There it goes. And he's looking for that observer with his own. Wants to get that observer and get the snipe. There we go. Nice snipe on the observer. A forward panel here set up by Jaxx in a very, very sneaky position. He is moving out onto the map. If he forces a confrontation here at the front or here, he can easily warp units and run them in through the back. Yeah, the patch is already getting mined out by Elfi, and already mined out is actually Jaxx. Jaxx now remote mining. That just shows how close both these players are cutting it. Oh, target firing the probe there. And some shots back and forth, but the superior Colossi count for Elfi. However, Elfi has a lot of health lost on a lot of these Colossi. This probe's still here. Just chilling. The observer Elfi now scouting his opponent's army. Knows he's ahead in army count at least, for the time being. There we go. Finally that probe sniped out. The gas going down there for Jaxx. No gas here on the natural. Yet. For Elfi. Then again, both gas in the main are still happily mining away. Getting close to mined out? Well, not really. 600 gas still in there. Oh, and look at that. A single Zealot there warping in behind the army. And Zealot's being sent in here behind the army, actually. Smart harass by Elfi. Knows that his opponent's army is out on the map. So doing whatever he can just to halt the economy of his opponent and kill off a few probes. Now that he knows he's disrupted his opponent's economy, he's comfortably pushing out on the map. He's got an observer here, so he knows exactly where Jaxx's army is, but he's instead just moving out and trying to go past it. There is a single stalker here holding the Zelnaka tower. That means that Jaxx knows what is going on as well. He's trying to retreat, but he's going to get caught in an awkward angle here. There we go. Great arc for both players. Elfi just warping in units under the Colossi. The Colossi now using the cliffs, but one goes down. The second one is going to get focus fired as well. It looked like Elfi has all the momentum right now. Disrupting this opponent's economy was all he needed there to get the momentum. So harassing the Nashville right now, just trying to deny the gas first. Oh, nice shot onto the middle line. It's hurting a lot of these probes. Desperation attack right now by Jaxx. Sending in everything, every single probe, every zealot, every Colossi just getting sent in, trying to make something happen. But it looks like he's going to be down and out very shortly. Elfi bunching up his Colossi, losing one, but no problem, taking down one. His own as well, and yet no economy for Jaxx. Very well played there by Elfi. Showing us some Protoss 2 bases done. I gotta say genius harass there to disrupt his opponent's economy, and that means that Elfi is gonna move on to the next round as well. Thank you guys for watching. You're watching Kaos TV, where I think there's only a few more matches left in pre-grid before we go down to grid. So stay tuned for that. The action is only gonna get better.